The Joint Parliamentary Committee on Personal Data Protection will be tabled in the ongoing winter session of Parliament. The committee adopted a final report on the bill on November 22nd, after nearly 2 years of deliberation. As India right now does not really have a data protection regime, it is this legislation that will lay the foundation for the protection of an individual's privacy in the digital age. The bill is also of great importance for corporates, both Indian firms as well as foreign ones that operate in India and process the data of Indians, as they will have to bear the compliance cost. What are the features of the bill? How does the bill approach the consent and processing of the data? Does the bill offer a solution to surveillance issues of the state? Advocate Kritika Bharwaj, fellow with the Center for Communication Governance at the National Law University, Delhi, and writes frequently on privacy and data protection issues, has some answers.
The bill has basically, to my mind, 4 main features. It sort of lays down certain principles for data protection. So, for example, it mandates that only data which is essential for a particular purpose must be collected. Once it's collected, it must be used for that limited purpose and not recycled or repurposed. Once there is no longer a need for that data to be retained, it must be deleted. The second the second main feature of the bill would be certain grounds. It lays down grounds for processing or collection or use of personal data. So when we talk of grounds, it must be that this collection or use of data by an entity must be based on free and informed consent, or there are exceptions to this, for example, for the performance of a legal obligation, so on and so forth. The third, I think, main feature of the bill would be that it confers certain important rights. It confers individuals with certain important rights: the right to review their data, the right to access their data, to seek correction of that data if it's inaccurate, and the right to even seek erasure or deletion of that data under certain circumstances. And I think what ties all of these 3 limbs or 3 main features together is that the bill also proposes a data protection authority, which is intended to be sort of a centralized regulator which oversees compliance with the Act. The language of the clause under the bill for consent is there is a lot of emphasis under the bill on free and informed consent. And the bill goes as far as to say that, the consent must be specific for that purpose for which you need data, and it must also be capable of being withdrawn with relative ease. So the ease with which you give consent, it should be as easy to revoke consent. However, of course, there are other additional grounds. Some of them appear to be quite legitimate. For example, when data is required to be processed for a legal obligation, for a medical emergency, for employment-related purposes. But of course, as Clause 12, which is the government's use of data without consent, these appear to be very, very broadly or widely worded, which does sort of create some risk of misuse. I think the bill was never intended, or actually it could not have brought about surveillance reform. The surveillance regime in India is contained under rules framed under the Telegraph Act or the Information Technology Act. This is a regime which is quite outdated and is in need of serious reform. So, for example, there are issues about there being no requirement of judicial or a prior judicial authorization for interception of communication or surveillance. Even the post facto review mechanism consists or is controlled entirely by the executive. So these are certain sort of structural inadequacies which this bill, I think, could not have addressed. But having said that, I think it is definitely very, very troubling. These sort of broad exemptions that we talked about are very, very troubling, because it was expected that this bill would at least bring in one additional layer of safeguards or checks and balances as far as states' use of personal data was concerned. And so when we look at these broadly worded exemptions, it is quite disheartening to see that instead of providing greater control over data which the state handles, the state has, just allowed itself a complete free pass under the draft law, and that's why the refusal of the JPC also to engage with this issue is so disappointing. And I think I'll borrow from Mr. Manish Tiwari's dissent note as it's been sort of published in news reports. The bill does seem to sort of create a parallel regime. It seems that a different regime applies to the private sector and a different regime applies to the state. And that was never the intention of this bill. So I think that's definitely a huge problem with this bill. But having said that, it could not have been the solution to all our surveillance problems legal surveillance issues in India.